So first of all, with the moon being the overall here, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. There isn't a whole lot of clarity when it comes to how you or the other person is feeling. For a lot of you, it could be that, somebody just can't figure out what they're needing to do to get this relationship back on track. For you guys, though, I think that it's like, I don't get it. This isn't what I thought. It's about illusions and things not being clear, seeing things from a distorted perspective. But I don't like it because it's like, what the hell? I mean, like, I don't know. This is confusing to me. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what it is that you want, what you're trying to do. Now, with the Five of Pentacles and you bringing that in and them showing the Hangman here, they're not willing to move anything forward. And for you, it's like, I don't know. I'm being left out. I'm being rejected. I don't know what's going on. But it's not that you're being rejected. It's that they're having problems with, getting out of this place of not knowing what the hell to do. I mean, they're the ones that are holding things up. Now that, though, could be because of other things going on in their life. Now, the way that you move out of that, though, with the Knight of Pentacles, we're talking about slow and steady. Slow and steady progress, or you're just looking at them as dragging their ass. But with the Four of Wands, we're talking about, on their side, wanting to build something, but they're not moving fast enough here. They're not doing it. But I think for you, it's better than feeling rejected or not being a part of what the hell is going on with this person. It's like they don't, it's not that they don't want you to know. I think that they can't figure it out. Because I keep going back to the moon being the overall here. And I don't necessarily feel like it's about deception, but what I don't like is what's happening later on here. And it's even more confusing because it's like what you believed is moving in a certain direction, like completely collapses here. So before I even get there, looking at the Hierophant and then the Ten of Wands, this is saying for you, you're looking at, wanting something traditional, wanting that kind of commitment. That is what this is slowly leading to, or what you believe it's leading to, but that's not the actual reality with the moon. The Ten of Wands could be showing that they have a lot on them, not just, dealing with their own life here, but there may be like a lot of pressure on them to do something here with you, but there isn't a whole lot of clarity on what to do, how to act, and it's like, I don't get it. I thought that this was headed in a direction, and it's like, it's not, though. Now that Ten of Wands, though, being a burden that they're carrying, it could be that they're opening up to you about this, and that's kind of where the Tower is playing in, because everything that you thought is coming down, and the whole situation is collapsing because there is not a whole lot of clarity on anything here. I hate it when the moon shows up with this situation. It's one thing to deal with a moon moment, but it being the overall here and what the both of you are dealing with, it's no good on either side. Because we're not being realistic about anything. But for you, though, you're looking at things from a very grounded and practical perspective. But they are looking at not knowing what to do and how to move forward and how to start to build things with you. There is this amount of pressure that's being put on them. And I think that they perceive it as being from you. But looking at the Nine of Wands, I look at this and I think that you're going to get to a point where even though they may be opening up emotionally, they're not really being completely open, no. And I don't think that this is about them looking at you as being, emotionally obsessive or attached here. I think that they're trying to get control over their emotions, absolutely. And I don't doubt that there are feelings there, but they don't understand it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to move forward. They see the possibility of building something here with the Four of Wands, and it's slow and steady. We're slowly getting there. But for you, it's all or nothing, which makes sense here. And for them, that's just too much pressure and everything just boom. But then I look at the Nine of Wands and I think for you, it's like, even if they turn around and say, well, I can't really give you this, for you, it's like, well, I don't know if I want to let you back in. I mean, there's definitely the defensive nature, needing to protect yourself, the wall kind of being built up because of everything in the situation coming to, this collapse here. And it could be that it's just boom out of nowhere, but you're still left confused and not understanding why. And then the Seven of Pentacles, so there's still that potential that's there, but they need to reevaluate things after they kind of get closure on this whole idea of not wanting to invest anymore. And that may be the shock for you, but they're being emotionally open and honest, I think, about this. Because I don't think that it's about hiding anything. It's about, what the hell? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. What is it that you're wanting here? Now, with the Sun, we're definitely talking about things being brought out into the open here. Absolutely. And with the Eight of Cups, it's going to be about them, being emotionally open about the fact that they don't know if they want to invest in this anymore. You're seeing it clearly here. But then looking at the Ten of Pentacles, and this is where things get interesting. We're talking about needing security and stability here once there is kind of closure on this idea of not wanting to do this. But I really think that this starts with like a conversation almost. But there's still not a whole lot of understanding. They don't know how the hell they feel. You're not understanding what the hell they're doing. That's how I'm seeing this. And with the Nine of Wands, the both of you are kind of like building up this wall around each other. You're not letting anything in. There isn't a whole lot of understanding. But it's almost like I'm willing to accept that. Maybe we just need to kind of go with the flow. But I'm also like not going to be open to, this kind of commitment that you were promising but didn't fulfill. That's what I feel like this is. But there's definitely, with the world, this needing to get closure on some issues that they may need to walk away from, though, as well. And that is where, things are not going to work out the way that you initially thought they were headed because of this situation and this shock and everything kind of collapsing here. But it's clear, you see it for what it is, but then there's this Ten of Pentacles going on here. Now, it could be that, they're needing to know that you're still okay or that you're still secure, which I don't think that there's an issue there. I think that you're fine. But I feel like they're wanting to give you at least some level of security, though, too, that there is still very much a want to have this, but not so much. It's like, I don't want to be committed, though. For you, looking at the Knight of Wands coming out of that and then looking at the Seven of Pentacles, they're still kind of like looking at the situation here, and they're being, like I said, honest about this. And going, I don't know. I don't know if there is the potential for growth, but it could also be that they're reevaluating, possibly thinking about moving on, getting closure on that kind of crap, and then looking at the potential for growth. For you, you're like, fuck it, it is what it is. I mean, seriously. It's like with the Knight of Wands, this could definitely be about you looking at them going, they're in and out. They're here and then they're not. Like they can't figure it out. But neither one of you are going to look at this as being a committed relationship moving forward. I also think that with the Knight of Wands for you, it's like, fine, I'll just take what I can get. I'll be the one that's in and out then. If you can't get your shit straight and figure out what the hell you want. Because for you, it's clear. There is at least some level of rejection in the past because they can't figure their shit out with the Hangman. And for whatever reason that is, that's fine. There's at least some kind of understanding and compassion that they can't, exactly move forward. But the problem is that the way that you perceive it is because of them coming at you with the Four of Wands, it's like, okay, so slow and steady. Maybe we'll slowly get there. And they clearly want to build something, but then it's like, no. I would just say to you that if you're dealing with somebody who, can't commit to you, then maybe you need to look at it as it wasn't realistic to expect this from this person in the first place. You know, maybe it just needs to be an experience. But something changes with them, though. That I will say, with the way that this is coming out. You know, because I look at that and I think it would have been different had it been the Queen of Cups, because that would have said to me that they were looking at you as like being overly emotional. My God, if I could talk right. Or being emotionally invested too much into this, being easily manipulated, but that's not it. It is about somebody trying to get control over their emotions. You know, and there's still that availability there. But for you, I think that the security lies in knowing that this may not be a situation that is going to be the kind of commitment that you had expected. You know, so with the Knight of Wands, right? Well, then let's just do whatever and see what happens. You know? And then the Ace of Wands. Interesting. It's interesting to me. Now, wedding. If this involves marriage, this could be about somebody who is married, or it's going to be about wanting to kind of move the relationship to that place. You know, and again, I kind of go back to this feeling that for a lot of you, when it comes to your relationship, it's all or nothing. But somebody messes up. Somebody is messing up here. And I look at you and you're like, oh, hell no. But you're still open, though, to a new beginning, because there is a lot to this. The Magician. This is about somebody who's trying to make something happen with the relationship. But with the Two of Swords, that's somebody going, I don't know. I don't know about all that, right? Like, I don't know if I want to accept this here, but somebody is definitely trying to make something happen. But there needs to be an apology. So with the Five of Cups, definitely we could be talking about somebody who apologizes, but it's really about whether or not you have the ability to get over what has happened. And that may be why there is like this, I don't know if I want to accept this from you. You can try all you want, but this is what I need. And that may eventually happen here, because with the World, I mean, traditionally, you know, this is the successful completion, getting closure, but this is also about a relationship that makes you feel complete, makes you feel whole. This is a good thing. But when you move into the Eight of Pentacles, you may get that apology. This may be the relationship that you want, but there is a little bit of disinterest. Your focus is somewhere else, that or it's them. But with the Ace of Wands being there, it's like, that's fine that you apologized, but you're going to have to do something here that's going to make me believe that there is the potential for a new beginning here. And with the Ace of Wands, you are talking about, you know, a new passionate beginning here. But I look at that as you, that's some of you, like, really, you want to make something happen? Well, you need to fix this issue. You may be kind of keeping this part to yourself. But with the Eight of Pentacles, you're like, yeah, that's cute that you're there, but... And then Temperance. It's going to take a little bit. I think it's going to take a little bit for you to open up, or them, depending on how the situation is going, right? But I look at this and I think that this is somebody who is finally coming around to the fact that they want to get this relationship back on track. So it is definitely about somebody who's trying to make something happen within the relationship. You may not be interested in what they're trying to offer you, but this comes out of nowhere, right? The Chariot is a sneak attack, like somebody literally coming in and wanting to take control, giving the relationship a sense of direction here. But with Justice, yes. Somebody is finally owning up to the mistakes that they have made. And with the Five of Cups, there's definitely the apology here. I don't think it's that easy, though, for you to get over what may have happened. It's going to take a little bit of time, but with Temperance, I think that you're willing, and looking at the Ace of Wands, it looks good. And this situation may lead to marriage, which is possible here. This is very specifically going to have to do with those of you who have broken up with somebody and you're working on getting back together. Okay, so when you look at this deck, like I've said before, the Nine of Swords and the Three of Cups, they're very similar. One is about getting back together and healing heartbreak. The Nine of Swords, though, would be the worst case scenario. Maybe we shouldn't be getting back together. There is a lot of difficulty. There was a lot of difficulty with the relationship. And in your mind, you could be going, maybe this isn't the best idea. But I look at that with the Seven of Cups, and I think that for a lot of you, if you're getting back together with someone, it's not going to be exactly the way that you are fantasizing about. You know, because the Seven of Cups is definitely about fantasizing about somebody or how things could be within the relationship. Moving out of that with the Emperor, you're talking about somebody who is full of passion. You know, so you could be definitely dealing with, you know, a male here that is full of passion, full of drive, you know, and that could be you, whether you're male or female. You could be dealing with a male, but you could also be dealing with a female here. But looking at the Emperor, it is about somebody who is full of passion, full of that, you know, fire and drive and wanting, you know, to have that kind of fulfillment, right? The passionate fulfillment. With the Four of Pentacles, they're trying. Somebody is trying, but another person just isn't feeling it. You know, this is needing to flame the oh my God, if I could talk right. Fan the flames of passion. There we go. If I could spit it out, for Christ's sakes. Let me just slow down here for a minute. Take a breath. It's not enough. That's the problem. There's not enough. Somebody is definitely feeling it, but I don't think that it turns out to be what they had expected. And then you move into the the Page of Pentacles, my fault, the Knave. That is a relationship going sour. And that is because you are dealing with somebody who is a little bit cold, a little bit shut off, looking at the King of Swords. You know, it's not about emotions for them at all. It's just, I get what I want and that's it. And that's because the passion doesn't get built here, but that's because there may be a lot of issues from the past. All right. And here is where I look at the Seven of Cups, and I think very soon is saying that when you clearly decide what you want from this, that is when that will show up. You need to get clear on what to expect from the person that you're dealing with and what you really want. When you get that kind of clarity, that is when you will see that start to happen. And I think that this is why this is showing up, because you're not clear. You're not clear coming into this. The Four of Cups, we're talking about the relationship getting to a point of being stagnant. You know, you're doing the same routine over and over again. Nothing has really changed. Nothing has really changed here. And it's not living up to what you thought would possibly happen if you got back together with this person. With the Moon being there, again, this is somebody who, you know, clearly has this kind of like fantasy about what is going to happen here. I mean, you know, the Seven of Cups clearly, you know, kicks that off. But I also look at the Moon and I think of, you know, people fantasizing about each other, but it not being real, not being reality, you know, sticking with the traditional meaning of the Moon here, which would explain why, you know, you have all this passion and drive coming through, but it not happening, it not being built. It's just not there anymore. And then things go sour. Somebody gets bitter. Somebody feels, you know, bitter and angry about this. And the other person is like, fuck it, I'm just going to take what I can here. Emotions are cut off and then communication stops. This, when you're looking at the Seven of Swords, this is really about two people who need to start speaking the truth. Because you're not communicating. You're not physically connecting anymore. You're separating each other and not, you know, confronting the fact that there is at least some bitterness about what is not happening or what also may have happened, if that makes sense. And again, you need to get clear on what to expect. You may be full of passion and drive and wanting to get this going again, but the way that it ends up is not good. It's difficult at best, but we're not talking about a situation being over with though either. I think that at one point it was in the past. And again, with the Nine of Swords, it's like, should we get back together? Should we not? There are a lot of things that you're going to have to think about before moving forward on this.